Hi guys, it's Marina from Geordie Angel, and as promised on a previous video, here is part one of my first tutorial and my first DT team project for Handy Hippo Crafts. The website is handyhippo.co.uk. Okay, now I showed you the tools on a previous video, so the first tool I'm going to start with is this one. And this is called the Prima Comfort Craft Distressing Tool. It's a lovely tool actually. I've seen these round and about, but never really had a go at using one. So obviously the centres, Handy Hippo was kind enough to send us this to demonstrate to you. So I've had a play just to have a look to see what kind of things it does. And I'll show you a little bit of what it does first, and then show you what I've done to use it on my tag. Okay, so I've got a piece of embossed card here. You can't quite see, here's a little bit, there's some clouds on there, but as at the moment you can't really see a lot. However, depending on which side, this is like a grating side, it's more coarse on this side, but depending on which side you use, this one is smoother, but you can feel it's like I would surmise it's like stroking a shark. If you've ever seen programs where people have said when they've stroked a shark, it's quite rough, it's like that type of feeling. It's got a rough but very fine side, but rough feeling to it. But anyway, we're going to start here first. So I'll start on this side, and all I'm doing is just lightly going to put, I'm not even putting any pressure on, and I'm just lightly distressing this area of the card. And I can even tilt it a little bit just to do a particular area if I want, and I find that lovely just on the very end. Or you can go around in circles, and I find the handle very comfortable in the hands. But anyway, that's my first bit of distressing. I'll zoom in a bit so you can get a closer look, guys. But I've only just distressed this little bit of area here with this side. It's more of a coarse side. Then I'll use this side just so that you can have a demonstration of what this side's like, because it's not as coarse as this, but it's still rough. So I'm just going round in light little circles here, or maybe it's back and forwards like I did with the other one. So, and it's got more control really. You can go maybe as if you just want to distress a little area when you don't want to go across the whole of it. You could probably just lightly distress like that there, or keep going and make sure that you can see. I find really with this side it seems to work great in little circles, and because you've got a nice handle, it to me it works well. I don't suffer with carpal tunnel or any dexterity problems like some ladies I know do suffer greatly with, but this is comfortable in the hand. So if you have got that bit of grip, then it's comfortable, and with no pressure. If you put no pressure on at all, you can just lightly do this, and you can do this for a while. Just go back and forwards over it, and just lightly, very lightly, really all I'm doing is holding it in the palm of my hand with just my fingers. I'm not even got my thumb on it. I'll pull the camera out so you can see what I'm doing, and all I'm doing is without my thumb is just letting the tool do the job like this. So you know, you don't have to put any pressure on that. Okay, that's said. Now at the side of this tool you've got a little blade in. Let me just zoom in a minute, guys. In there, I don't know, yes, you can see it there, little And it's quite a good size gap. I find this great size gap actually, because I'm not constantly, I do have a distressing tool, but I'm always constantly falling out of the gap, if you know what I mean. The paper constantly comes out because I think I'm trying to be a bit too rough with it. But this, I can be as rough as I like and it stays there. So again, I've just held it in my hand. I'm going to get the edge of the paper, and if I just want to do it lightly, I'm just going in one direction, stroke away. I'm just stroking it away from us. And then you get an edge like this. Sorry guys if the light's not too grand, but you've got this like bit of a rough edge there. See it better on that side. But you know, if you want to go back and forwards, you can really rasp it up, as they say. I think they call this rough rasp. And just go back and forwards, and you can really do a really good distress or rasp, as I say. So I'll just clean that off, and there you go. Sorry guys, just move that out of the way. And you've got a really rough rasp on there. And if you've got a two-tone card like this, that's great, because it's shown a different green to the darker green. And if you haven't got two-tone card, that's a great amount then to distress with some inks. So of course that's this side of the tool. That's the rough side. And then you've got this rough but slightly smoother side. Then on this end here, let me just zoom out so you can see, there is like a fine, it's like a fine wire brush at the tip there. And it's like a wire brush, so and I think we've all come across wire brushes. However, I'll zoom out a little bit and then I'll show you what this does, because I do like the effect of this. So, depending on which way you do it, you can either just do strokes like that and just go along your paper, and you're creating scratches really. So you can gain, it's like a worn scrap style you can do. And you can do this apparently on photos. I haven't tried it on a photo, but you can do this on photos and make the edge of a photo look quite distressed. So if I go up and down like this, you can see then it's made it look scratched but distressed as well. Hang on guys, get it to... No, I've made it worse. Sorry guys, I'm just waiting for the blur to stop. Maybe I'm too zoomed in too close. That's it. But anyway, this is the look that you get with it. And generally you do it on paper edges or within your paper, but I'll show you what I've done with my project with that anyway. And that's comfortable to use, and like I say, you can just go back and forwards and achieve the look that you want. You might just want a few scratches across the paper like that. You know, you don't, especially if it's embossed, you can just, you know, achieve maybe the look that you want to, that scratched look. But I think that's brilliant. So that's the end of that tool there. And then one more bit on this. This is what I love about this. It's multifunctional, this tool. This is the tool I think that you would take with you. I know there's a lot of people generally go to crafting classes and things like that and generally take a bag of the crafting goodies. This is the one that I would take, because it also has a bone folder. This is the bone folder edge. And if I just clean that off a minute and say fold, then get your bone folder edge and just, that's it. And you've got a lovely, lovely, sharp, crisp edge there where it's folded it. And that's what I find handy about this, is the fact of it's a multifunctional tool. It's got everything in it that you would need, so you wouldn't have to take different tools. And I just love it. Absolutely think it's brilliant. But that's my opinion. But anyway, if you're interested in the tool, it is on the Handy Hippo website. And it's just brilliant. And you also get a spare greeting side. I call them a greeting side. Now, I find the easiest way to open this greeting side, the rough side, is to just hold the tool. Make it zoom out. Okay, just hold the tool in your hand, get your thumb, and just, there's a little bit of plastic there that you need to press in to pull it out. So you sort of press in and it comes out. However, this way I find is a bit awkward, so what I've discovered, that you hold it in your hand, just take your thumb and press that a little bit there and then just pull it up. That's all. As easy as that. So once again, in your hand, to your thumb, press and it up. Very, very simple. I'll show you from the side so you've got an idea. Press and up. And it's so quick and easy. I'm going to zoom that in, guys, because I think if you're like me, I really like to see. I'm trying to get my angle right. Right, this bit of plastic here is where you're going to get your thumb, the edge of your thumb, tip of your thumb, just push it in and push up at the same time. So it's push in, push up at the same time, and it's out. And it's as simple as that, and that's the easiest way, because when I first got this and I was having a little play with it, I was trying to use my fingers and thumbs and try to get it out till I just discovered that if I sit in my hand, it comes out very easy. And of course you get two of these, so you get your spare. However, with my project, I've decided that my two will do two different jobs. So let me just do a quick clean up, guys, and then I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to put the other one in. I'm putting this one in because I'm going to show you that on my completed tag I had this. This was the little sign that the butterflies were flying out of. And of course I'm going to show you what I've done to distress this. Within an inch of its life I distressed this. So here we go. I just downloaded it off the internet, seen a little poster, vintage poster I put in, and this is what I came up with. Okay guys, right, so what I've done at first, edge of the tool, this one here, and I edged it and roughed it up on the ends within an inch of its life. As you can see, I'm not being kind to it because the look I'm after is I wanted to make it look like you've seen in the tag, like it had been on the wall for years and years and was not at its best. So that was the look I was going for. So, like you see, I'm just going to edge them all up. I'm just doing this quickly just to give you an idea of how I done it. Sorry guys if I go off shot, I'm not watching, my camera's above my head, so it means having to look up all the time. So, but I'm hoping I'm in shot. Don't think the light's too grand, but never mind, we'll live and learn. One day I'll get a good light. However, let's continue. So that's what I basically done. I really went to town on roughing the edge up. really, really went to town. Now, then what I done is I got the brush end and then just decided to go at the edges and then just go up and down to create that scratch, but just around the corners and around the edging. Some heavier in some places than others, and then just continued. That's it, until I got the look I was after. Then what I done is I just done a few scratches across the paper, not looking for any particular direction, just a few here and there, so that it really looked battered, really battered. So that was the look I was wanting to achieve there. I'm just going to dump me mess and here we go again. Okay, now what I done next, after I used that end of the tool, then I came back to this end, and what I done is to create the hole in the middle, I wanted it to look worn, so I didn't want to cut it and then peel it back, because that wouldn't have achieved the effect I was after. What I was after was a worn look. So what I decided to do was take the rough end first and then just start scraping the paper and just keep going and moving round in circles, but I just kept it in the one direction for now. And then of course you want a big enough hole for the butterflies to fall out, so just keep going. Let me flick some of that away, and eventually you'll end up with a hole starting. Now I used quite, I think it was 200 GM, and there we go, there's the hole starting. I'll move this bit out the way so you can see the hole, guys, and there you go, that's it starting. Then what I done, as soon as my hole started to open up, I just done a little bit more. That's all I done, and then I took this side then, because it's a bit gentler and you've got more control now, and all I done is pushed, and what I'm doing is just flicking like this type of motion to get the paper from the middle up and start curling it to go along the edges. And I just done that all the way around, like that. That's all I've done. It doesn't matter if some of the paper breaks off, because it's supposed to look worn. Now, depending on what size hole you want, depends on what you're doing with it. If you're having the butterflies coming out, I would want a bigger hole than that. So I just dragged it down like that, as you can see. It's worn, and then I took this side again, and then just pull it. Little gentle pulls where you got more control. There you go. You see it's opening up, and that's all I've done. And I'm just, like I said, just doing this rocking motion. And then a little bit up here. And I don't want to try and keep the hole in a particular shape. I want to try and, that's it, unbalance the shape. Okay, and that's what I ended up with. And that's using both, everything, the edger, both sides, and the brush. The only part I really didn't use was the bone folding side. Okay, now, once I'd achieved that, just clean my mess away, guys. Okay, I decided to start inking it. Now, what I actually done first, now you can actually buy these inks on Handy Hippo Crafts, and they're not badly priced actually. They're actually cheaper than what I paid for these actually, so there you go. Right, so ink time. Now, I generally ink on my glass because you can glide it in better. So what I just done is started inking away at where the white is, because I really don't want much of the white to show. I would have probably, if I'd had any, I would have used cream paper to print this off, but as I didn't have any, I've just used the white and have decided to just make do and mend, as I say, and it works anyways. I just get into the nooks and crannies of the whites, and it doesn't matter how little you put on or how much. Now what I've done is I folded these back into the middle and done behind them like this, and then I folded them back out then with the blending tool. Okay, now that I have used is Vintage Photo, and that was the first go. The second one was Walnut Stain, and it's darker, so I kept this really in the edge, on the edges. So I basically went down the sides to make sure I got into the white there, and just done that all the way around, like so. And then come to the corners and just put a little bit of pressure on and darken them corners down a bit more. And then just went in to where you've created this hole and just give it a bit more of a darker tone there. There we go. And that's how I created that. So that's your 2 inks, which you can get off Handy Hippo's website. Okay, now the next thing I done was the tag. Now, I thought I'd lost them there for a minute. Sorry guys. So next thing I done was got the tag. Now I don't have a drying tool, so obviously I'll show you up to what I can do, and then obviously I've got to set it to one side to dry. So I'm going to get this covered. Now, I actually used these paints. Now you can buy these paints off the website, and again they're cheaper on the website than I bought from a shop, which is amazing. This one I used for later in the project is called Clay, but I also used white acrylic and black acrylic, and I also had to mix them because I didn't have a grey. But I have noticed that on the website they have got what you call a dark grey, so I would have used that if I'd had that. I've also seen another couple of colours that I would have used within this project if I'd had them, but there was burnt umber and burnt sienna. Them are the 2 colours that I would have used on this. However, I didn't have them, so I just done a mixed degree that I wanted to use and got it to about the colour that I wanted by just mixing the black and the white. So that's how I done it anyway. That's how I managed for this one. So let's go now. Now what I started doing with this, with the tag, and it's off these tags at the centres I showed you in the previous video, is I just painted like this. And what I've done is done a first lot on, just very, very messy. It doesn't matter, it hasn't got to be. And then I took a smidgen of black and just darted that around like that. And then I took a smidgen of white and darted that around like that. And it was just, and then I went back into the grey, and it's just to achieve, so it's not uniform, the colour. I didn't want any uniformity in it. I wanted to look, you know, like a part of a brick wall. And because I haven't got any paste, it's not paste, is it? It's is it paste? Oh, sorry, I'm just miles away because I'm getting stuck into the painting. Not multitasking very well, am I? And again with a tiny, tiny bit of black, bring it up here. That wasn't enough. and I brought it up here and then just mixed it in. But yeah, I think it's paste. If I'd had the paste, I probably would have used paste when I put the bricks down. Right, now that's what I've done on one side. I do this on both sides. So obviously I've got to leave that to dry because I don't have, like I say, a heat tool to dry it. So let me just give it a quick clean up, guys, and then I'll show you how I've done me bricks. Okay, now these are the bricks I used, and the reason I told you this mate tool is going to do two jobs is this is going to do paper, and the one that's supposed to be me spare is actually going to do me MDF, and that's what I've decided to do. One for paper and one for MDF. And what I actually done to achieve the shape and the style of the brick that I made, I only used these bits. They're out of this that I bought. So many ladies that's bought one would have like these type bricks. Now I didn't want them uniform, these bricks. So what I done, just use this side, I leaned it down onto the desk and then just, oh, how can I say, went to the corners and started curling them. So it's like a curling motion like that. And I just went to the corners and started there first. So I achieved this. I'll bring it in, guys, to see if you can see it a bit better. But that's what I've achieved there. Then I just go to all the corners and do the same. So you're doing that sort of motion. You're turning it at the end. And it's to get it down into the corner so that you don't actually have a sharp corner on it. And then I rounded the corners like that. So I'm taking it this way. Sorry, guys. So I'm taking it this way and I'm going to the bottom and just rolling it up, sort of like that. So it's that motion coming up. So I'm doing the other side the same, and there we go. You've got sort of that unevenness, and that's all I wanted to achieve. Hi guys, sorry about that. Me SIM card run out. My SD card, sorry. So, as I was just explaining, all I'm doing is the corners first. That's what I do, and just get rid of them corners. You don't want such harsh square corners. And that's all I used. I just kept using this side. Sometimes I went up and down and then just used it one way. Now, once I'd achieved that, I just went to the edges and I just tilted it like that and just done it like that. Just treat it as though, not so much sanding down, but it's like nutmeg, when you're scraping nutmeg. It's a bit like that, so that's all it feels like, really, is as though you're just scraping nutmeg on one of your kitchen utensils. Okay, so let me just round off the edges a bit more than what I've got there. Okay. Okay. Now, that's what we've come up with. Let me just zoom right in and hopefully the blur will go in a minute. Hopefully. Yes. Oh, it's taking a while. I don't think the dark background helps, so what I'm going to do is just bring the white background back in and see if that helps it. No, not much really. But anyway, I just went over the surface a bit just to rough it up like that. And it's more comfortable with the tool turn round because you can do this either side now. And I did use this side more to just rough the edging up, so when you actually paint it, it looks more realistic then. Seems a lot of work, but I thought very worth it. I like to make sure, like a lot of people say, the devil is in the detail. And in this case it certainly is. Right, I'm just going to zoom back out, guys. So what I've done after that is I painted them. Now, there they are. And that was done with this one that you can get off Handy Hippo's website. If you go over there, you can buy all this that I'm using on the website. And then I just painted them the clay. And then when I painted them the clay, I'll keep this one with us. I also stippled them a bit so that they would look, let's see if I can get the lights on in here, because the light doesn't look very good. And see if I can zoom in a bit more. Try and get that. See where it looks dark. There. Now you never see bricks really a perfect colour. So what I've done is I painted them clay, done them all like this, and then I'll show you what I've done. I just got a paintbrush now, and I just got a bit, let me just go out a bit so you can see. I just got a bit of black on the edge here. Let me see if you can see that. Yep. So I got a bit of black, and then I took a bit of white beside it, just like that. And then I have this big stencil brush, and I've had this for years. When we all went through the phase, I think, of stenciling where kitchens, I think. I've got all fruit all over it. Okay, so I just kept loading the brush up and just up and down with your stencil very lightly. Don't have to be too rough. Make sure you get the two colours on, and that's what I done. Then I took it to a piece of paper and just took the majority of it off. Then I come to the brick and just very lightly dabbed it. And when too much dark was going on, I turned it so that I would get the white, and then I'd put a bit more white on. And then otherwise I just kept dabbing till I get the effect I was after. So these lights are shocking. I'm awful sorry. But that's the effect I was after, like a brick effect. Now, once I'd done that, and that this had dried, it's so warm now, it's dried, almost dry anyway. But I actually done both sides. I haven't done both sides on this, but on the other card, when I show you, I did do both sides. And I also done the same with this. I just stippled, just to give an effect, even though really one side you don't really see a lot of, but I just wanted to give it so it didn't look all streaky. Because this is supposed to be the like concrete or cement that you get in between the bricks. And it's only because I didn't have any paste, but I wanted this effect. And zoom in a bit more, and that is the effect I got. And then I just left that to dry. Okay guys, that's how I achieved that. Now zoom out a bit and then I'll show you. There, that is my dry card, and you can see I started building the bricks now. It's only down the bottom, a few down the bottom and a few at the top that you see. So when I actually started building, I did do some of these bricks where I only done the ends. I just done one end like that. Didn't do two ends, just the one. Give that a paint. I haven't stippled these yet, but that was to build on the ends like this. And I just built it up at the sides. I didn't worry about painting all of it, because most of these on the sides you're not going to see. So that's all I've done, is just built it up. I'll do this quickly as I can, guys, because my first video I've just done, I've just noticed is 20 minutes. So that's all I've done, just built both sides like that. Then obviously a full row across the top. I haven't stippled this one yet. Sorry guys, didn't realise I wasn't done. There. So I haven't stippled this one yet, but gives you an idea. Then I took the baby ones, the little dutty ones, because I also have little dutty bricks, and then I'll build them up at the sides like this. And the other two I haven't done yet, but you can get the idea of what I was trying to achieve. And then, as I've already done one, this is what I've done. And I just slight angle. I will do the back of them bricks, but slight angle. And there we go. I just stuck that on. Now what I stuck the bricks on with is this. I'm not really, I do use my glue gun, but I'm not really that good with a glue gun, so I tend to use a lot of this. And yes, you got to leave it to dry, but if you glued all your bricks on with this, as I've already glued the bottom three, just leave them to dry. Didn't take long for this because of the heat today, but I just generally, once I start using this and glue everything together, I leave it overnight then, and it's nice and firm in the morning. And they've also got this at Handy Hippos. All these products that I'm using, they've got there. Like I say, they've got the distress inks, they've got the paints that I've used, they've got everything. So guys, that's demonstrating this tool, and obviously distressing the paper within an inch of its life, but you can't control how much distress you want the paper to be. If you want it light, just do it light. But I found this a brilliant tool, and also using these tags have been great, and they're a good size. They're not too big that they're overpowering your project, as in it's, you know, some projects I've done, I've got quite a lot in there. These really, you just keep it simple. So my next tutorial I'll do, it'll be on the punch that you were shown, and that's the punch there with the 3 different butterflies, and that will be my next tutorial. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Sorry it's a bit long-winded, but I just wanted to make sure I got everything in for you so you could see how I done this. So this obviously is the first part. I'll put these videos together, so they might be a bit long, sorry, and then I'll go on to the second tutorial. So if there's anything here that you like, and like I say, these tools are all at hand. I want to keep calling them Happy, but that's because I was so happy when I got asked to do the DT team. But anyway, Handy Hippo Crafts. This is my DT project for them, and these are the tools that they sent us to demonstrate to you. So I hope you've enjoyed the demonstration, and like I say, in the next one will be the butterflies, and I'll show you the different ways that I've done the butterflies and mounted the butterflies for you onto this tag. So any comments, guys, let us know if you would like to have seen us do something else for this tool. I'm only a novice and I'm only new to this tool myself, but I've had a good play today, and I found I like it does a great job with both MDF, probably chipboard the same, and the paper. So it works on everything I've used it for so far. So it's a great tool to have. absolutely excellent tool. And these now, there's 20 in a packet, and I think that's excellent. I can get loads of projects out of them. And like I say, hop over, and I'll see you soon, guys. Bye.